friendly. I go where I am known. I go where I'm not an illusion. Where I go, I've noticed. Everybody goes there. Everybody goes there.
Hello and welcome to Around Town TV, your lifestyle and business experts. We've been bringing you the best kept secrets, businesses, organizations, and people since 2003. We're the Minneapolis St. Paul area's longest airing television community showcase, and we're thrilled to have with us tonight a very special guest. Not only is she a private pilot and coordinator for an event that we're going to talk about here, and she was also a 2025's International Mrs. Minnesota. But today she's here to discuss Pilots N Paws. Please welcome Rachel Jouppi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. Having you on the show and what we're going to talk about tonight, I love because this is just what makes my job so fun, to be able to feature people like yourself and all the cool things that you're doing. But before we get into that, for those who may not know you, I gave just a little snippet, but you've got a pretty incredible background from being a registered nurse, etc. Would you share a little bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a wife, a mom. I am also, like you said, a registered nurse. I actually work for a major insurance company serving special needs populations. So that is something that I'm very proud of. Along with that, yes, I was International Mrs. Minnesota in 2025, something else that I'm super excited about. And then most importantly, something that took a lot of hard work was becoming a pilot. So I am a volunteer pilot for Pilots N Paws. And even more recently, I started writing for a magazine and also am in the works of publishing my first children's book as well. So I do a lot of different things, that's for sure.
That is so cool. And then did you mention, I heard something in the background, so I just wanted to check on it, that you also recently started your own nonprofit?
I did, yes. So I recently actually started my own nonprofit, Pause and Give Thanks. And that was actually stemmed off of my International Mrs. Minnesota, something that I'd volunteered quite a bit in a lot of local food shelves. And with that title, I got into it because I was so passionate about animal rescue. And so one of the first questions I had when I got into these food shelves was always, where's the pet food? And come to find out that 1 in 4 families that go to the food shelf have hungry pets at home. And the big distributors for the food shelves actually don't do anything with pet food. So they rely on individual donations to really help families. And so to me, it was a no-brainer right off the bat that, something needs to be done to kind of bridge this gap. And right away, I did work with several major retailers to come up with a plan to just get something going right away. And with that, we put individual donation boxes in many stores with Tractor Supply and Fleet Farm and Family Fare, lots of major retailers that jumped on board. And we were getting these individual donations to the local food shelves. But again, I knew that there was still that need that I could fill. And so we started the nonprofit, Pause and Give Thanks. Mm-hmm. And our goal is to really almost become a distributor to all of these local food shelves to, have that warehouse, kind of like a Second Harvest Heartland, to get the food into the food shelves for families. Because ultimately, there's so many animals that go into rescues and shelters. And one of the reasons for that is because of, economic hardship. So if we can take away that barrier and, help them, with that food aspect or other, pet supplies, hopefully we can keep some of those animals out of, the shelters and rescues to begin with.
Well, and it's brilliant because I have been told that a lot of dogs are given up to the rescues because of financial reasons. They lose the job, they can't afford all of that. So what a wonderful thing that you're doing with that, and how cool that really ties in with what you're currently doing, and one of the main reasons you're here tonight. And before we get into Pilots N Paws, I just want to do a special shout out to some of the rescues that were listed here. I know there's others around the country, but for this special project, PJ's Rescue, Midwest Animal Rescue and Services, The Bond Between, Coco's Heart Dog Rescue, Healing Hearts Rescue Minnesota, Liberty Canine Rescue Ranch, and I know there's more. If you weren't on social media, if you are, I tagged you, but if you were listed in your logos in the promo, but you're not tagged, I wasn't able to find you on social media. But just so thankful for those that are involved in the rescues. But for those that aren't familiar, you've got this big event coming up. But let's talk about what Pilots N Paws is, and then we'll get into the event as well.
Absolutely. So Pilots N Paws is a nonprofit organization. They are based all around the country. What it is a platform for pilots to connect with rescues to transport rescue animals. So it's a great opportunity for pilots to use their pilot's license to do good. And what they do is they're, like I said, it's a platform. It's so simple. Rescues post needs on different animals, whether that is an animal taking their freedom flight, getting that ride out of the shelter right before maybe they were scheduled to be euthanized, or it could be a transport from rescue to rescue, or my favorite type of flight, which is when an animal goes to its forever home. And so they post these needs on there, and then pilots are able to get notification that there's a need. And with that, they jump on and they help, coordinate. Yep, I can do the whole trip or a part of the trip. And we've brought dogs all the way from California to, across the country to Michigan was my longest one that I was a part of. It's a great opportunity to be able to help move dogs around the country that may not be able to, either get to that forever home that they were trying to get to, or, they may have a lot of these rural areas, especially, just need help with getting these dogs out of that area into bigger cities where they actually have fighting chances. So it's a great organization that I'm very proud to be a part of. I am a volunteer pilot, and I love that we're able to really fill a need to in the transport realm. And again, using your pilot's license, because it's such a privilege to be able to fly an airplane, and pilots love to fly. And so, I actually, I was just in a general aviation news magazine, and they actually took one of my quotes as the headline, which was, more than $100 hamburger, because pilots will, go and, pick up that $100 hamburger. And, there's so many amazing things that you can do along the way, like transport a rescue animal. So it's a great organization that helps save animals' lives by transporting them by the use of pilots giving back with their license.
It's so awesome. Let's talk about, and from what I understand, it's one of the largest in the Midwest or anywhere, the event that's coming up in the Flyaway, and what you're doing, the dates, if you wouldn't mind sharing information about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am absolutely thrilled that I have organized the largest flyaway in Minnesota, Missouri history. And thank you. And with that said, everyone always says, well, what's a flyaway? So normally Pilots N Paws, again, will do, one or two dogs at a time. This is a mass effort here. We have almost 45 pilots, with 45 planes, more pilots actually, coming together to transport 100 dogs from the St. Louis, Missouri area up to the Twin Cities, where we have 11 rescues, some of which you mentioned today, that are stepping up to take these dogs, put them into foster homes, and find them forever homes. So these are animals that were minutes from being euthanized. Some came from deplorable conditions. There's so many abandoned animals in that St. Louis area. So we gathered all of these animals that didn't have a fighting chance, and we put them all together in a mass transport that we're doing called our Flyaway here. And we are, that's happening this weekend. So pilots from around the Midwest are all getting together in the St. Louis, Missouri area. And the very next day, March 1st, we are heading back up to the Twin Cities with all of these dogs and all of these airplanes. So it will be a spectacle to see airplane after airplane bringing in all of these dogs with all of these unique stories. And I'm just so thrilled that it has come together quite well and the weather is so far holding up. So it's going to be a great event. I'm super excited to bring awareness to Pilots N Paws, all of the amazing transport stuff that we do, and also the collaboration amongst rescue, because it really does take a village to not only help save these animals from, the sending rescues and shelters down there coming together and working with us up here to collaborate, and all of the foster parents that have stepped up and wanting to be a part of this big event and opening their homes to help bring these animals second chances. I'm just thrilled with how this has come together, but it's such an amazing opportunity, and it's going to be really awesome to see.
Well, and shout out to all the rescues who've been a part of this. I utilized all the logos that we had, and just what you're doing. Congrats to all, the pilots who give of their time and their planes and their gas and everything to make this happen, to save these animals. And, shout out to Pilots N Paws for what they're doing. And if you go to that, I put their link. It's above this video with a little description of what we're doing and what we're talking about. But if you go to that link and you're like, wait, that's what Pilots N Paws does, is what we're talking about. This is a big piece of it. So if you're actually looking for more information, not only on this Flyaway or others in the future, you do have enough pilots for this one, correct?
Yes, we do have enough pilots that have stepped up for this particular mission, but we are always looking for more pilots. In order to make these rescues happen, to move these animals, there is always a need for pilots to step up and donate their time and their aircraft. I always like to mention too that anytime that you donate your aircraft for a nonprofit, whether it's Pilots N Paws or another organization, animal related or not, there's so many nonprofits that you can do amazing things with your pilot's license. Then the fuel is tax deductible. If you are renting your aircraft, that rental fee is tax deductible. And then also if you're doing a lesson, getting your pilot's license or advanced training, that could be tax deductible as well if you incorporate a mission. So there's just so many amazing reasons. If you're going to fly anyway, or if you're doing training, you might as well couple it with a nonprofit mission, do great work, and there's amazing opportunities to do a lot of things with your pilot's license.
Absolutely. What else have we not talked about that you think our viewers should know? We have a lot of people online, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I am super thrilled. Again, you mentioned some of the rescues. I wanted to shout out to Northwoods, Heart of Border Collie, Laura Cluse, No Dog Left Behind. They have all also stepped up. And then we have so many sending rescues on the other side that I just think, should absolutely get acknowledgement, because they've been pivotal in this whole process. So Heading Home in the Heartland, Dog Saver Rescue, Forever Homes Rescue, Friends of Macon County, Furry Hearts Rescue, Max Rescue, Polk County Humane Society, Needy Paws, Animal Welfare Alliance. They've all stepped up and helped in some way for this huge event. So I am super, super grateful for everybody's participation in this. So again, I'm super excited to see how it all pans out. If everyone could cross your fingers for good weather.
Great.
Absolutely, because that is definitely a factor in all this. You got to have good weather to fly. So
yes, we don't want snowstorms or anything like that. So she's going to the groomers tomorrow, but she sits on my lap through these. So want to make an appearance? This is about you. Yeah, you're a queen bee. Not all the doggies get to do what you're doing, and we're trying to find homes so they can have the love that you have. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can you see? Can you look
She
in
is
the
adorable.
Well, she's so funny. And so right before we went on, of course, that's like she thought she could score more treats, so she was going to bark. So, but she's been laying here, and she's not. So my former dog Tasha, when she passed, I got 1,000 texts, emails, etc., because people recognized her because she loved to be on air and always would try to sneak in. But and that was when it was more just the broadcast show. And before we did have some live stream too, but it was more before live stream was even a thing. And this one doesn't even really want to be on air. She just wants to be in my lap. And if you just pet me, mama, and give me a treat, I'm good. And she
Oh,
takes
well,
it. Yeah.
these animals are our family, and I mean, it's just heartbreaking. You know, some of the stories that we have coming out of this flyaway. We have Sam Walton, who is looking for a forever home. So, I mean, there's so many dogs. You know, not only are we still looking for fosters, so if please, if you would be willing to open your home, fostering is amazing. It's a great opportunity to figure out whether you are ready for a dog, if it's the right dog, kind of get your puppy fix. If you are looking at maybe, do I want a puppy? Do I not want the work of a puppy? All the rescues pay for all the vetting. They give you food, blankets, toys, all of the different things, crates. So fostering is an amazing opportunity to help. That's really how lives are saved by, being fosters. So, and then we are definitely looking for people to adopt. All of these dogs are going to need homes. And like I said, there's some
there's
just
100,
crazy,
right?
100 dogs exactly that are going to need homes. And we have every different type of dog on this transport. So we have puppies galore. We have small dogs. We have large dogs. We have all different types of dogs available. Lots of different colors and all the things. So, but there's just some crazy stories. Sam Walton is one that I'm super excited to share with everybody. He was a dog that was abandoned outside of Walmart, and he kept going into Walmart and making friends, and he actually became a store favorite for quite a while. And then they kept putting him back outside, and he'd come back in, and then eventually the shelter picked him up. And they have a 10-day hold. Most of these dogs have 10 days if they are not claimed or they are, picked up by a rescue to get saved, then they're euthanized. So it's a very short window. And with that, a rescue pulled him for our transport here so we can get him a new home. So he's Sam Walton off of Walmart, of course. So he's one of the stories. And I mean, we have this litter of puppies that we just added to the list that are coming up here, that the mom was shot and killed. And the puppies were taken in by a lady who is now being evicted at the end of the month. So these puppies are scheduled to be euthanized for no reason, just because they have no place to go. So, people always talk about how, rescue animals have problems or different things. These are innocent puppies that, don't have behavior issues. Every single dog on our transport, we have made sure is dog friendly, is, a great dog. It's going to be a great fit for someone's family. So, there's so many opportunities to step up and be a part of this big event by being a foster or also adopting one of these amazing animals. So,
well, and if you do me a favor, I know the event's this weekend, but if you send me those that maybe weren't on the original list of rescues that have just kind of come on board with logos and things, I'll at least do post and make sure they're all tagged, because they're going to be the ones who have these dogs.
Absolutely.
And at least get the word out and spread the word so we can find homes for these 100 animals that will be flowing in. And shout out to all the pilots who are doing this, the rescue, everybody involved, and especially to Pilots N Paws who host these events. I mean, this is a big deal. And I'm so grateful to you that you reached out to me so that we could get the word out about what's going on.
Absolutely. No, and I really appreciate, everybody's collaboration. And again, it just takes a village, and there's so much awareness that needs to be brought to, again, not only pilots doing amazing things with their license, but again, every 8 seconds, an animal is euthanized because of overpopulation. So it's heartbreaking. And if we can all, step up and help the animals that we can. And I always tell people, spay and neuter your pets. I have amazing resources on my Instagram page for low cost resources. So, I mean, there's resources out there to help if that is a barrier for you as well. But I'm very proud, again, with all the rescue things that I'm doing. It really does take a lot. There's so many different things that people can do to help. So yeah, I just hope that, bringing awareness to all of this stuff can help make a difference.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned that needs to be shared?
I would just really like people to, one of the pushes with my nonprofit is also bringing awareness to when there's food drives that people donate pet food to their local food shelves. So
such a brilliant idea.
It really is, because everybody, always donates the canned goods and the macaroni and cheese and all the things that are very, very needed. But our furry friends are very often forgotten. And I've even had people say, like, I didn't realize that was even a thing, that you could donate pet food. Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, beyond what I'm doing with, physically getting food into these food shelves, if we can all just have a little bit more awareness that this is a need, because I think it just is not something that, has been brought a lot of attention, to, donate pet food along with that macaroni and cheese when your kiddo has a food drive at school and different things. Because, again, there's just so many needs that, unless you're aware of the situation, it slips your mind, so just definitely keeping that in the back of your head, bringing that awareness would be really awesome to everybody. But I just really appreciate your time and for you having me on today. And, like I said, we have the nonprofit Pause and Give Thanks that I'm super excited about. So watch for that coming up as well. And then I do have the children's book based off of Pause and Give Thanks to bring awareness to that. Different articles in aviation magazines, again, encouraging pilots to do good things with your license. A lot of great resources. So if anybody has any questions, with regard to the Flyaway, how they can get involved with Pilots N Paws, how you can get involved with other nonprofit organizations as a pilot, need resources for animal rescue, I'm always so happy to help, point you in the right direction and help. So feel free to reach out via social media for that.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And I want to do a special shout out. We've had a lot of people online. This show goes live to 8 different places at once. And thank you to those who have stayed on, supported this. We haven't had a ton of comments. I'll go back and look on the various platforms. But if you're somebody who wants to get involved, you want to help, whether it's donating food, be a volunteer pilot, etc. Also, for my media colleagues that may be watching, Rachel is available for media interviews this week. So don't hesitate. Do you have any set other ones yet that we've talked about that we can promote?
So we have a couple news stations that are supposed to be covering the event on Sunday. A local radio station also has brought some awareness as well. Actually, a couple of different local radio stations. So I'm very grateful for their participation to, get the word out not only about this event and, how people can be a part of it, but also, again, that awareness of all the things. So.
Fantastic. And of course, many of you know we've started Car Talk with Carla, and I'm so excited. Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. My very special guest is someone who's no stranger to media, no stranger to being on air. She worked at QVC. She's a top seller at stream companies. She actually is one of my mentors. They call them buddies. She's amazing. We're going to talk about you, the customer experience, the customer journey, and the importance of the focus of you and what your needs are. And so I'm just thrilled to have her on to talk about that. And when I asked her what she wanted to talk about, and she said that, I'm like, of course Jen would say that, because that's who she is. A lot of people have great products. I am proud to represent a company, integrated full service company that has so many products, but this is about you and your needs and the problems that we can help you with. And just like Rachel's doing in her endeavors, it's about solving solutions and helping people, helping animals, whatever that may be. So please tune in if you're available. If you're not available live, it will be embedded. This will be 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday afternoon, Car Talk with Carla. And then we will resume Around Town TV live again next week. Of course, the state high school hockey tournaments are on. And so it's a holiday. It's Wednesday through Saturday is sort of a Minnesota holiday with that. But we will have a show Wednesday evening. And Amalia Demgard will be back, and her husband Ken may be making a special appearance. We'll be back in her kitchen studio as well. So stay tuned for more. Thank you all for tuning in and for supporting us the past 23 years. It's amazing to have you with us on this journey. It wouldn't be possible. And Rachel, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. Is Rachel Jouppi, volunteer pilot representing Pilots N Paws, just shared her story. And I thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you Thursday afternoon right here on Around Town TV Live. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you.